So today we'll be seeing what are errors and exceptions which are seen in Python. So obviously, when we did many programs so far, so we have done, I don't have the count exactly how many programs we did, but you can always find in the GitHub. And wherever we did some mistakes, the Python compiler throwed some of the errors, and it was basically in a traceback. So what is a traceback, that we'll discuss in some other videos. So errors are basically given out in a traceback, so you can understand in that way. So traceback is one set of uh, category from where you can get the detailed information of error, where that particular error has occurred and what is the type of error, in which line it has occurred, and so on. So that basically happens in runtime. So today's discussion will be based on what is errors and how we can handle those errors, because if error just happens, we can't let it just go. We have to do something so that we can take some preventive action in the future, like to not make any errors. If errors are there, we surely need to resolve. Okay, so I've just pulled up this screen. So this is a online document which is created. So I'll share this document on my GitHub. You can get this from there. So basically, what are errors? So errors are problems which are there in a program due to which the program will stop the execution. So how does errors occur? So errors are basically of two types. So first is like basic syntax errors, which are due to common typing mistakes. If there is a typing mistake in your code, or if there are any some white spaces, or if you just forget to do the indentation, those kinds of errors are called as syntax errors, that is man-made errors or user-made errors. And there are some other errors which are called as logical errors. So logical errors are basically, say you have created a dictionary and if you are trying to access the index, so that is basically uh, index error or key error that you basically get. Then if you try to access a name which is not defined, you will get name error. Then if you just overflow the buffer or overflow the stack, there you basically get memory error. So there are different errors. So uh, we have a list of errors. So so far whatever we have done, from that I have got a set of errors and I basically tabulated in this. So uh, we have index errors. So index errors happens when the wrong index of a list is retrieved. So where you put the index which is not accessible in that particular list you created, from there you get the index errors. Then you have something called as assertion error. So we have not covered about assertion error. This is in general in detail. What are the basic overall errors that is obtained? So assertion is basically any rule that you want to always satisfy. If that rule is not satisfied or if it is violated, it will basically throw the assertion error. Then you have something called as attribute error, when the attribute assignment is failed, because wherever you have typecasting errors. So this basically happens when you have two end systems, like we have seen the MySQL and Python interfacing. In that we did certain type conversions. So kind of data type errors which are not incompatible in both the systems, there basically these attribute kind of errors happen. Then we have something called as key errors. Key errors happen when the key of dictionary is not found. So like I said, in certain dictionary you don't have the concept of indexing, and so you don't get the elements in a uh, way like how you inputted into this data structures. So there you basically get key error. Then you have name error. So when the variable name is not defined, you basically get name error. Then value error, when the appropriate value is not passed. So if you have defined any variable which is of integer type, and if you are passing boolean type or complex type, there basically this kind of errors happen. Then there is something called as import error or module error. or module not found. When an imported module is not found, say for example you are using some methods of CSV class or CSV library and you forget to just import or load that library, or in case of math library you're using some square root function or some factorial function but you forgot to import that. We have encountered these errors whenever we ran in Google Colab. So I said once in a while you have to import the file and just run that. So there we mainly got this import error, module not found. So that is basically uh, the import error and module not found. Then you have memory error when program runs out of memory. This especially happens when you create a buffer and you dynamically allocate its size and it will uh, grow so on and so forth until the allocated memory will overflow. So that is basically stack overflow. So there happens memory error. Then you have type error when a function and operation is applied an incorrect type. So there also when you specify this type of input should be given but instead you give some other kind of input, there basically you get type error. Then you have indentation error when an indent block is not put. So basically in for loop when you forget to put the colon and then you just forget to put the space, in that case you get the indentation error. So these are common errors when we type programming. So then we have something called a zero division error. So you know from the math literature, division by any particular number by zero is not permitted. So there you can basically get an error called as zero division error. It is internally thrown by the Python compiler. So attempted division by zero, when that happens or when you deliberately try to do that, you get this kind of errors. And finally, you have syntax errors. That is basically invalid syntax. Now some or more of these errors come into traceback. We'll see in detail in traceback how to read a traceback and what are the various errors that come under this. So if these kind of errors happen, so these are just basic errors. I have not covered all of them. uh, when you use different systems you will get different new types of errors that we are yet to discover. So Python is a very vast library with different data structures. You get different kinds of errors. So if these errors happen, we can't just let it go. We need to handle this. So for handling, we basically have the exception. So exception is basically handled or exception is raised. So it is raised when some internal events occur which changes the normal flow of the program. So usually you have some lines of code written and you might have a sketch, okay, these things should happen. But internally due to some kind of discrepancies or some kind like sometimes it may not run, you don't know, like uh, there is a golden rule, like if you don't know why this happens and if that particular block of code always runs, you should not touch it. So you don't know sometimes what happens and what does not happen. So that basically is an exception. So in exception you basically have to handle that and you basically raise the exception. So that's where the difference of errors and exception is. So better we write a program in order to understand this. So I have this particular program. So what this does is it is basically for the error handling. Now I take two inputs from the user, that is two numbers by this syntax, this line. So then I'm doing a try except. We know where we write try except. Except are basically write in database connectivity when connection is not established. Instead of throwing the system defined error, we print our own error like connection is not successful or connection is failure, like that. So in try, what we are doing is we are checking if the second number that is inputted by the user, if it is 0, and if the user is trying to divide those two numbers a and b, then we would raise an error. So that is basically zero division error, and we'll say like denominator is 0. And if this is not the case, if b is not equal to 0, then it will do the normal division and it will print what the division is and its result. And then there are some other statements like we handle these errors. So exception, wherever we get, we raise the exception. So this particular thing, that is we are raising the exception, this could be happened, or user could do a zero division activity. But when it comes to error handling, you have to write in except. So this preceded by a keyword except and the name of the error and what action you want to do. Here I'm just printing what is the consequence of type error. Obviously you can do any line of code to fix it or modify it according to your application. And then you have name error. So I say name is not defined, and then if all of this passes, then I'll print a here. So if any of this does not happen, if it does not falls in any of the except cases, it will basically print this here. And there is a finally block. So as the what is written inside this, no matter what happens, this will always be executed. So no matter your system throws an error or it will print successfully, no matter whatever happens, the finally statement will get executed. So that is another block where you always want to make it execute. So especially these kind of blocks are used in banking scenarios where you want to maintain the asset properties or atomicity whenever you do any kind of transactions. So there you basically use in real time this kind of blocks. This is just a small toy example to understand uh, the possible errors and how we can handle those. Okay, so we'll just run this. Okay, it is asking for enter two numbers, so I'll enter 2 and I'll enter the second number as 0. So you can see no matter what happens, this will always be executed. So the finally block ran here. Now just look into the traceback. So whatever errors you basically get, that is classified inside a traceback. So traceback, you have to read the traceback from bottom to top. So bottom defines what is the error and it will give the description what was the error. So denominator is 0. Now why this is there? Because it uses this particular print statement that we written here. So this is basically customized. Else if this was not there here, then it would print the by default system thrown kind of error or system message. So we remove the system message and we put our message, that is denominator is 0. Then above this it will give the raise zero division error, that is this particular line raise, that is we are doing the exception handling. So we are raising the exception, so that is this one. And then here in which line this has happened. So if you just go here, that this is first line, second line, you can see the cursor, second, third, fourth and fifth. This is first, second, third, fourth and fifth. So it basically gave this error, means it ran. So b is equal to 0. So as a result of this particular line, that is this particular line, it thrown this zero division error. So it was identified that b which was inputted by the user, that is 0, that's why it thrown this error. So Now what we do is we'll just run this again and we'll give some proper inputs. So we'll give as -6. Is this correct? Yes, it is perfectly valid. So it will give you -0.333 recurring, and it will always print no matter what happens. This will always get executed, and this else part that is here. So that is just a normal else block. If you notice, like, we never used a if else here. If was just inside this try block. You can use else separately inside a block. So that is an exceptional case. Like, you can separately use the else block also by not writing the if block. In other programming languages this is not the case. With else you always have to use the if or else if, however it is there in the else if ladder. So now we just do for another negative scenario or negative case. We just run this again, and what we do is we just type 1 and we just write 6 or comma 6. You can see it went to this type error because the type of first element is, it is a string, and second is an integer. Printed unsupported operand types found, and it printed no matter what happens this will always get executed. So these are the types of errors. Now here we got an error but we did not handle this. Now let's go and handle this kind of error. So how will we handle that? So first we have to write except and then just write the name of that error which you got, okay, and just a colon and print. Can print anything here. I'll write not allowed, just that's it. And if I just run here again and if I just type 10 and 0, basically you can see like the traceback or error didn't came, exception didn't raised, but instead it was successfully handled by this block and it printed not allowed, and this basically printed. So its execution just changes. So just notice this particular output and this particular output. The traceback always comes after, at the end, so it will not come in between. So whatever your print statement is there, finally block is there, that will always get executed before the traceback. So traceback will be the last thing, that is the error what you get. So this is how you raise an exception and also handle the exception in Python. So well, that was all regarding exception handling in Python. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found you got educated from this video, please do like, share, comment, and if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching this video.